In case you forgot, this was supposed to be Workforce Development Week at the White House. The president and his team were going to put the focus on jobs, jobs, jobs. Instead, they found themselves facing questions about the Russia investigation yet again. Joining me now, Congressman Denny Heck, a Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, it seems like there would be a lot less talk about the Russia investigation if the president stopped tweeting about it.
So actually, Katie, I think the president has placed an incredible emphasis on jobs, jobs, jobs this week. Think about all the lawyers that got hired this week. Mike Pence hired a lawyer. Everybody else is hiring a lawyer. Former Director Mueller has hired 13 lawyers. He promised during the campaign to create jobs, and he is. This is the Attorney Full Employment Act. That's
some A-grade snark right there, Congressman. Are you concerned that the president might be going after Rod Rosenstein or laying the groundwork to go after his Deputy Attorney General?
So take a step back, Katie. First it was Michael Flynn and Sally Yates and Jim Comey all fired. Jeff Sessions recused himself. Mr. Rosenstein is considering recusing himself. Evidently, the White House is considering firing Mueller. For the love of God, can we just get back to what we originally proposed, which is the best, the cleanest way for us to handle this is the creation of an independent commission and get away with all these conflicts of interest and entanglements. Of course I'm concerned about it.
Do you think it's a good idea, though, to add another investigation into this? That would be an independent commission. It would be a special counsel. It would be the Intel Committee. It would be in both sections of the House, in both the House and the Senate. Then you have the Justice Department looking into things, and you have the FBI investigating. I mean, isn't that just too many investigations going on at once? How many times can a witness talk to a number of different investigators? And at what point will one investigator say, I just want to talk to him once, and then leave this witness be so I can continue on with my investigation?
Time out, Katie. It would be if it were true, but it isn't. The independent commission would take the place of both the House and the Senate investigations. So you'd be down to 2, not 3. Actually, we would be reducing it. And besides which, they're not entirely duplicative. For example, Katie, as you know, this coming Wednesday, former Secretary of the Homeland Security Department, Jeh Johnson, will be in to talk about, presumably, principally focused on efforts by the Russians to hack into the election system. The Federal Bureau of Investigation system is looking at counterterrorism and criminal activity. We ought to be looking, or somebody ought to be looking at, how we can harden our elections IT infrastructure so that this never happens again. So they're not completely duplicative at all. One needs to be very forward-looking to prevent the Russians from doing this to us again.
To be fair, most of your colleagues on the Republican side have said that they have confidence in Robert Mueller. The criticism we're hearing about him is generally coming from those who are outside of Washington, people like Newt Gingrich, supporters of Donald Trump, but not necessarily lawmakers. So what is the need for a special counsel when Robert Mueller has the support of Congress?
Robert Mueller is the special counsel.
I mean, so what is the need for an independent commission? Excuse me, there's so many different words.
Right.
What's the need for an independent commission if the special counsel does have the support of Congress?
So the special counsel is looking at counterterrorism efforts and criminal behavior in the past. The independent commission ought to be looking at what we can do to best prepare ourselves going forward. The only conceivable work product, if they get to that, of the special counsel is an indictment, and that wouldn't be the purpose at all of the independent commission. Katie, the question is, how do we avoid this in the future? How do we make sure that the Russians, who we know for a fact are intent on doing this to us in the past and into the future, how do we prevent that from happening? That's not the job of the special counsel.
Washington Congressman Denny Heck with some A-grade snark a little bit earlier. Happy Friday to you, sir, Democratic member of the House Intel Committee. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Katie.